I've addressed this several times, but I'm going to repeat it again because I have many new people that have joined the last few weeks. And some are wondering why I don't speak on more political current events. Most of those comments are coming from people in these United States of America that have been watching. I guess the short answer would be because I occupy my time with things that matter the most. Jesus said, occupy until he comes. And I'm not saying some of the liberties that we're losing in this country don't matter. Yes, they do. And I have said it many times. If someone comes after this church, I will fight as hard as I can legally against the oppressor. But I have decided, even if this ministry does come under attack because of what it preaches, what I preach, I still will occupy, I repeat, until he comes with the things that matter the most. And that is reaching the lost with the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. I have people that write to me, they're upset, and rightfully so. I don't fault you for being upset. You're just about ready to pull out your hair because you see pastors, not necessarily in this country, but for instance in Canada, they're being thrown in jail because they don't want to close down their church. And you're so angry, that's all you could think about. Well, my friend, I've learned that you have to put your money where your mouth is. And I've sent out the message, starting with this ministry. Those pastors need financial help. Tell me where I need to send a check to, and I'll write the check. See, we do things that you don't know about in this ministry. Just don't sit there getting aggravated. Just don't sit there pulling out your hair, constantly angry, and then do nothing about it. And like I said, the proper way of doing something about it is putting your money behind your words. Send some support. If those pastors need assistance financially, it might not. Send them a letter saying that you'll be praying for them. And if they ever do need additional support, to let you know. Finding things legally ain't cheap. It is not cheap. It's very expensive, whether it's here, Canada, or Australia, wherever. But I'm tired of people writing me and wondering why I don't spend more time speaking on politics. I repeat, I occupy the precious time that I have available in front of this camera with things that matter the most. I repeat, I'm not saying those things don't matter. What matters the most. I have people listening to me, old-timers. And if they're truthful with themselves, they'll know exactly what I'm saying is true. I was a part of a ministry longer than anyone that's listened to me. I guarantee you that was part of that ministry. And do you realize most illegal fights were lost? It's not to say they should have been fought, because they should have been fought. And they were fought. But we still had to carry on as a church to get the message that pastor was preaching out. And not only they were fought, but they were lost. $150 million in licenses back in the early 80s value. Television stations and radio station. I remember we were sitting at the big dining room table in the pastor's residence. On May 23rd, I believe it was 1983. It's been so many years, I might forget the dates, but I think it was May 23rd, 1983, when they had to shut down the Los Angeles station, the station that the church owned. And that was just the first. There was other stations that were closed down too, or shut down, because the battles were lost with the FCC. Years spent finding them, rightly so. They're lost, but they're sitting there about close to 2 in the morning, I believe. Myself, the pastor, and a gentleman by the name of Craig Lamp. And it was pretty depressing times. You necessarily didn't see all that in front of the camera. But just because the battles were lost, it didn't mean the ministry was not going to go forward. And it did. The assignment was given to the chief engineer and some other individual to go find possible stations that would put us on. Put the pastor and the church services on. 3 days later, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Those were the most miserable 3 days. I thought it was bad about losing the license and how it affected the pastor, even though he didn't show those feelings over the air. But behind the scenes, it was a different story. Day one, those guys, as much as they tried, didn't produce one possible lead after day 1, day 2, day 3. I remember getting a call from the pastor saying, And it was a depressing call about how unsuccessful those individuals were in trying to locate a spot for that ministry's program and church services. I remember saying, give me a shot. Give me a shot. I believe I was only 23 years old at the time. Maybe 22. Give me a shot. Let me see what I could arrange. I remember praying about it, talking a lot to the Lord about what to say, how to approach it, and how I could convince these people to give the ministry I was at the opportunity to get on late night. And I came up with a plan. Now, people try to erase my existence in a ministry that's there now. And that's fine. I really don't care. But they can't challenge me on the truth. Most of those people, if not all those people, are still there. We're not even part of any of this. But they're self-made experts on what happened. I came up with the idea, why not try to get the pastor. Now, I was not successful in all the stations, but on a few big ones I was. Johnny Carson, Dave Letterman, and the pastor. We would have the cleanup spot, so to speak. Well, that idea took off. Somehow the first station got sold on it. And then I could use that as the stepping stone to show other stations the possibilities. I had to learn how to talk their talk. Coming to these people that I were talking to at the time, I couldn't come, well, Jesus wants us there, or it's the will of God for us to be on your station. I had to learn to talk their talk. And I had to learn it really quick. Now, we were on other stations. Next thing you know, KDOC in Los Angeles. Dallas, that was a big station. Manhattan News Cable, Manhattan Cable, not Manhattan News, Manhattan Cable. Newport News in Virginia. Winston-Salem, Greensboro, North Carolina. Birmingham, Alabama. Waukegan, just north of Chicago. Reno, Nevada. I don't remember all the list. There's just some of them. And the church exploded. Why am I saying this? I don't want no one ever to think that I wouldn't fight for the existence of any true message to go out. I will. I had to put action behind my good intentions. And too many of you out there have good intentions but no action. And then you wonder why I don't speak on political current events. Listen, I am so sick of the news. I am so sick of the garbage from the left, the right, and the center. And let me tell you something right now. As you who've been around for a while now have come to observe, I'm a student of time. And that's why you've heard me use timelines so often. I happen to know what time we are in, and the time is short. So I'm going to dedicate most of my time to political adventures, to fight for your rights, more than I'm going to spend my time to the thing that matters the most, reaching lost souls. What do you think what kind of decision you would make if you're in my position? I'm so tired of hearing people so concerned about their liberties being lost. Let me tell you, I am too. Now, I'm always trying to figure out ways to protect this ministry and my personal self as long as I can legally. I won't be a pushover, by no means. But I'm not going to spin my wheels either. But more importantly, it could be spent reaching people with the thing that matters the most, and that's Jesus. People, well, we're losing this right, we're losing that right. Yeah? It was happening even in Paul's day. And he said in the last days, it was going to get worse. People are concerned about these rights being lost. And I look at some of these people that actually do get to me eye to eye, and I say to them, if you've been so concerned about the liberties that you have lost, you forget why the main reason this country went into a revolutionary war, or before it became a country. People fought in the Revolutionary War. Because why? Because things taken from them. What things? Things that affected their pocketbook. Do you forget about the Stamp Act? Taxes. You forget about the Townsend Acts? More things in the disguise of taxes, which led to the Boston Tea Party. Boston Massacre. Series of events that escalated tensions over a 10-year period prior to when we went into war, because it affected people's pocketbook. It affected people's pocketbook. Nothing gets people more angry and more upset with whatever government they're under than having things taken away from them. Liberty of speech, liberty to assemble. In the case of the Revolutionary War, a main reason, stealing your livelihood. Yet, for some reason, we went through a Revolutionary War, and just a few years after that war, taxes started to pile upon each other. The things we fought, the reason why we fought, or one of the main reasons why we fought that war, or they, not we, but those people fought that war, was because they got tired of having their pocketbooks and their, I don't know if they had wallets back then, but wallets emptied out by England. Mostly to finance their wars with the rest of Europe, such as France. I'm a student of history. I pay attention to the events of the past. And yet, we sit, especially the last 150 years, as these taxes start to accumulate more and more, especially the last 75 years. Federal income tax, payroll taxes, which include your Social Security, your Medicare, your FICA. Except for 7 states, the last count I had, it could be more, it could be less, state income taxes. How about sales tax? In some states, it's over 10%. So many of the items that you buy at a store, you have to pay a tithe to the government. Think about that. If you don't have an employee, you work for yourself, self-employment taxes. Capital gain taxes, both short-term and long-term. Estate taxes. Inheritance taxes. If you happen to have more money, wealth tax. If you happen to own property, property taxes. In some states, you have to pay taxes on your fuel. Then there's surtaxes. Business and corporate taxes. Tariffs. Just look at your phone bill. There's even wireless tax rates now. And believe me, I'm only covering some of the taxes. We are being bled dry. No matter Republican, Democrat, or a politician from the moon. We are being bled dry. But yet people, and I'm not saying some tax is not owed. You can't have services in this country without being taxed. But we are being bled dry, friends. And it's only getting worse. I get a kick out of the Republicans and say, well, we're going to reduce taxes. Yeah, but then let other taxes come into the scene or raise those other taxes even higher. The average amount of income tax, the average, and that's just the income tax, is over $15,000 a year per person. They were so quick in giving out stimulus checks, why not just reduce everyone's taxes by 50%? The federal income tax, and maybe even the state income tax. No. Because if they do that, you would get a taste what it'd be like. And they do not want to lose, they do not want to lose that control over your life. It's all about control. Satan and his minions are all about control. And they're using these human pawns to do their bidding. Are all taxes bad? No. Like I said, you need a certain amount of tax. And I'll probably get attacked for this, but we're being bled dry. Where is the upheaval? Whether you're Democrat or Republican, how come you're not screaming from the rooftops? Society's just accepted it. Those revolutionaries in the 1700s were taxed far less in comparison to how we're taxed now. You vote in these senators, you vote in these House of Representatives. Same old, same old. Nothing changes, and nothing will. And you're being bled every day. So on the surface, there's a lot of things I could talk about here that might interest a few, because you can go, rah, rah, I know I was justified in being angry and being mad. Well, hoop-de-doo-dah-day. What is that going to do for the cause of Christ? The thing that matters the most is my point. 2 Peter chapter 3. This is Peter talking, or writing. Knowing the first, verse 3, knowing that this first, that there shall come in the last days. What days? The last days. What days are we in? The last days. Scoffers, walking after their own lusts or desires. You see that everywhere. We even have people in my community, restaurants that used to be open lunch and dinner can now only be open dinner because they barely could staff the restaurant because people do not want to go back to work. Because the government, who's stealing from us, bleeding us dry, is giving us a, I can't say what I want to say, but giving us a little amount of money, thinking that's going to satisfy a good portion of the people that do not want really to work in the first place. They want to get something for nothing. These restaurants can't even staff their facilities. Because between unemployment and stimulus, they have made just as much, or in some cases more, than their employer paid them. So they're not going back to work unless they have to. The jobs are out there. I know in my state, most things have opened, yet they're struggling to find employees. Why? Because there's people walking after their own desires. And if they could bleed other people in the process to get what they want, and that's exactly what they're doing, they'll continue doing it. And the people that are working, that are paying taxes, have to front the bill. And it's not even enough. That's why they keep printing and printing and printing more money. And these idiots, because that's all you could say about them, think that's not going to catch up one day. Well, I don't even know if we have that long for that to catch up, to tell you the truth. But if we do, it's going to catch up. See, there's only really one fix. And that's the Lord's return. How about, I could go on and read more in 2 Peter, but what about, I have two Bibles open here. What about 2 Timothy chapter 3? I'm not even going to go to Matthew 24. All things pertaining to the last days. Chapter 3, verse 1. We've been there many times. This know also that in the last days perilous times, literally hard times, shall come. What kind of times? Hard times. For men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers against God, disobedient to parents. Actually, when you analyze the original language, it's unwilling to be persuaded by their parents concerning the truth. That type of disobedience. Unthankful, unholy, wicked, really. Truce breakers, false accusers, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. And then, some even in the Christian world, or the religious world, if you want to call it that, having a form or an appearance of godliness, the pretenders, by denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. One of those things, and I repeat, is coming to the knowledge of the truth that the things for the cause of Christ is far more important than the things for the cause of whatever is going on this planet at the time. I preach God's in control. Yes, He wants us to participate in the means that we can participate to fight against the enemy. And like I said, I always will. But first and foremost, mission, as far as I'm concerned, as far as this ministry is concerned, is to preach Jesus. I could have a Bible in one hand and a sword in the other. I could walk and chew gum at the same time. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. One of the reasons why, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons why is you're hanging on too tight to this world. The things of this world has become more important in your daily lives, your daily thinking, and your daily activities than the things that matter the most. I don't know who I'm talking to tonight. There must be a reason why. This is what I did not plan this. But there must be a reason why. Someone out there must have the need to hear it. Probably more than one, is my guess. The Christian world has become infatuated with political events. Let me tell you, I don't have a choice, because what I do here, but many of you do. It'd be a good practice to shut off the garbage from the right, the left, and the center for a week, just to clear your mind and just dive in to God's Word. I'm willing to bet you everything I got. You would have a different attitude. You would have a clearer perspective. And your mind would be set free from the garbage. Hard times. That's why we need to lean on Jesus more than ever. He'll get us through. He'll see us through. He's there with us. But stop being one of these characters that all you do is complain about it, which is only upsetting you and probably upsetting others around you. If you spend half as much time talking about Jesus to those same people, my opinion, that'd be a whole lot better atmosphere. Not just for you, but everyone that would be blessed from those types of conversations or those types of Bible studies you could have, whether you're a family member or a friend. I'm not a pushover by no means. And anybody that knows me knows that. But the challenge has always been Jesus front and center, first and foremost. Let the sword in my left hand handle all the other things that come my way, that God empowers me to handle. Clear your mind. You got it? Sorry I took up this time. Maybe I needed to do almost a whole program just on this one issue, so it could be in the archives and periodically replay it to let people know what matters the most. Play the song.